What's good, everyone? This is Dr. Nee. Thank you for tuning in for another 5-Minute Friday. And just off the record, real quick, can y'all write in and let me know what kind of suggestions you have for a different name? I need something that's unique. I'm kind of tired of the 5-Minute Fridays. I want something like a Fire Friday or an F It Friday, or I don't care. Just write me, send me an email at drneedarko.com or hit me up on Instagram or Facebook. And I'm really interested to hear what you have to say, what kind of ideas you have. And I may even actually make it a contest. So we'll see. But either way, just write me, let me know, because I want to change the name of these 5-Minute Fridays to something that's more, I don't know, something that's more unique, right? Just like how we got unique content on the show every Fridays. You're not going to find this content on the regular episodes. I want to give it a unique name. But on this 5-Minute Friday, we're going to have a really great guest. But before we get to that point, I want to take a moment to read another review off of Apple Podcasts. Once again, that's the best way to let me know how this show is doing, how this show resonates with you, okay? This one was sent from Evita Glez, sent on June 6, 2019, and it says, The Breakfast Club for Doctors, 5 stars. I love this podcast. The Darkos give you a bigger picture of how much more you can do and be as a physician. This podcast is great for non-traditional folks and for docs who love living unconventionally. Evita Glez, thank you so much. Actually, that's what I'm looking for. That's one of my favorite shows, The Breakfast Club, and I feel that it's real, it's raw, and it's respected, right? You have so many different people who are running for office, people who do something major, whether it's artists or whatever it may be. If you're coming out with a book, most people know that you got to have The Breakfast Club as your list of places that you want to go to when you want to launch a product or launch, a record or launch a book or whatever it may be. So for you to give me that, or to give this show that label, I appreciate that. And that's exactly what I want to do with the show. I want to make it more real. I want us to ask the really hard questions and so forth. So thank you again. Now on to this episode. On this episode, we're going to have previous guest, the Crispy Doc. He was episode 117. And he was talking about his life as an immigrant, as well as what it's like to have a midlife crisis and having a fork in the road and deciding to go straight, right? And how you can reclaim your time by reclaiming your finances. It's a really good listen. We got a lot of downloads on that one. I definitely recommend that you go back and take a listen to that episode. On this 5-Minute Friday, he's going to be talking about how he's been able to get past the fear of connecting with people, making connections, networking with people, and really embracing his outsider status and getting over that fear. I know a lot of us have these situations where we may feel that we may be socially awkward, we may not completely fit in. But I really think once you hear the Crispy Doc's take on his outsider status and how that's been able to get him over that fear, I think you guys are going to have a different perspective on things. This is going to be a good one. Please, as always, go ahead and share this episode with other people if you think that they may benefit from this. And also go to Apple Podcasts, leave me a 5-star review. And without further ado, I present 5-Minute Fridays with the Crispy Doc. So Crispy Doc, I want you to talk to us about getting past fear or insecurity or even procrastination, because you've made so many different transitions in your life, whether it's pulling back from ER or taking this more aggressive approach with your finances, or even adulting, as you like to say, with your finances. There's had to be some of those 3 feelings involved in that process. Can you talk to us about that?
I think probably the biggest fear that I had, and the adjustment that took the most time to get used to, was really becoming comfortable in my outsider skin. And it started out as a liability when you're young. I came from this family. We spoke a different language. We ate weird food. I dressed in off-brand jeans. I was not someone who sort of fit right in. And I think a lot of us can relate, coming from backgrounds of, just a little bit of difference. It's enough to make you feel like you sort of stand out, not necessarily in the way that you consider positive early on. But I think that outsider identity, it ended up becoming my secret weapon over the course of time. It was something where, you start school. Probably part of the reason that I differentiated myself as a striver was because I wasn't going to have all the right jeans and hair products and whatever else that the other kids did. I didn't necessarily get their pop culture references right off the bat. So I was a little bit out there. And then as school started, academically was how I was going to distinguish myself. I think a lot of docs can probably relate. As time went on, I was always kind of looking for my tribe a little bit. High school, I was a little bit of a social floater. I was friends here and there with the football player here, the kids in the AP classes, band guys, the drama guys. I sang a cappella music. not because I have talent, but because one of my cousins was in it and they said, we're desperate for guys. No guys do this. So, there was a guy I befriended in my AP calculus class who I later found out was dealing drugs. I mean, it was like a weird sort of connecting with people on an individual level that were kind of scattered throughout the social strata. And I think the odd part of that was I didn't fit into any one group, but I had a lot of key friendships across the board. So I got involved in student government, bizarrely enough, because, hey, one football player was all it took to get the whole team on my side, right? And so that outsider identity evolved over time. When I hit college, I was sure, I felt like I'd come from this very provincial, small town, and I was sure I was going to find like my soulmates in college because I hadn't really found them in high school. And interestingly, it reinforced the friendships of the folks that I had from home who went there with me. And then I hit med school, and med school, I loved the differences that I found there. The people that I related to the most, they were not the average med students. My study buddy from my first year had gone to Juilliard and was a classically trained ballet dancer. And we hit it off. Totally different worlds. He was the guy I studied with. My second year, it was someone who was a non-traditional student who had come to medicine after being an activist and a social organizer for several years in Chicago. And then she came to medical school and became this public health powerhouse. And we connected on this level where, there was something nice about being different together that I think gelled. And then over time, I think what happened was being different allowed me to maybe not necessarily keep up with the Joneses, right? So at this stage in life, where suddenly you're a doctor, you've got the doctor income, you've got all the other doctors wanting to live this large lifestyle around you. And the only things that you're sensitive to, because of course there are those misfits of medicine out there everywhere. I mean, you're surrounded by them and they're great role models, but you don't necessarily see them. You see the folks with the flashy car and the bling and the exorbitant lifestyles. I think that outsider status was protected. And I think it let me feel like I didn't need to compete with them in a little bit. And so that was something that I've come to value that I probably didn't recognize the value of early on.
Woo, nice. Love it. Love it.
Hey guys, if you really enjoyed this episode, there's plenty more coming. Make sure you hit your subscribe button on your favorite podcast app. And also at the same time, leave me some feedback. Let me know what you think about this clip, this segment. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.